Hi, dear live stream audience. We're back with you, giving you a little bit of a sneaky little add-on content piece. So we thought that basically you've seen all the startups and what they achieved basically over the last 4 months, and we wanted to give you a bit of background information as well. So I have a bunch of people with me from our team again who were working with the startups. And first up, I have Josh with me, who is our data scientist at TheVentury, and who will give you a bit of a background in what it was he did with the startups and why this topic of data strategy is important, also on an early stage. Hi, Josh.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Did you enjoy the pitches?
Yeah, really interesting.
Nice. So you're a data scientist. Can you please tell us a bit about what you're doing and especially what you did with the startups?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, data science in general is basically applying scientific techniques to data. So you might have, I don't know, data from transactions or data from employees or customers, and this using that data to discover interesting and useful things from that information. So making discoveries about how like some type of certain kind of transaction might be more interesting that you can then target in some ways or something like that. It's really interesting working with the startups here at the Ventury with Elevate, because every team has their own different data perspective. So it's really interesting to work with them and try to understand how they can best use their data. Of course, many startups that we work with are very early, so the challenge is they usually don't have a lot of data. And so part of my work with them is saying, okay, you're very early, but you want to be prepared in the future to do some really cool stuff with data. How do you get there? And so it's talking with them, how to collect their data, how to start even with a little bit of data, understanding it, because that then informs how to move forward, maybe collect different data, how to collect it, and then eventually reaching using machine learning, doing really fancy things that can really help their business going forward.
And that's actually something we hear often when startups are thinking about applying for the program, but they're saying, hey, we're not really applying machine learning or AI yet, and we don't have enough data, as you said, or we don't know what to do with it. And this is basically what you're doing with them. So you held a workshop and then also worked hands-on with them.
Yes, yeah.
So, for example, Avasa, I think you were quite involved in.
Yeah, because with Avasa, they have they're working with the housing market right now in the UK, but in the future maybe elsewhere, and there's a lot of useful data out there with the availability of housing, the pricing of housing, and where people need both on the demand and the supply side basically.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
Cool. Very interesting. And for all the startups who are watching right now and are thinking, okay, how do we move forward? We don't know what to do. We don't have a data strategy. What would be your tip? Where to start?
Where to start? Yeah, that's okay. Where to start is to collect the data basically. So you very early on you may not think about what you need down the road, but it's really important that you start collecting the data early, because you don't want to end up later on saying, oh, we should have recorded that, now we missed all of that information. So it's really important to even if you don't know what to do with it at this point, to collect all the relevant data, because data storage, it's really cheap, and so collect all the data that you can.
How do you know what relevant data is?
I would say that it of course depends on your business case, but anything, if you have users coming to a platform, all of their interactions, where they're going, what they're selecting, that's definitely important. So all those interactions, and you might even think of ways to take in data from external sources, so you can scrape data or even buy data from different companies that might be relevant for your use case as well. So yeah, anything where that tells you how the the environment that you're interacting with, the people that you're interacting with, anything that tells you information about that. Even if you don't think it might be useful at this point, record it.
All right. I mean, this is the man who is recording our data of our coffee machine.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Josh, for being with us. And we're moving on to our next interview with Miriam, who's back there.